Do you know what nylon is made from, or spandex, or acrylic wool? The only thing that separates these from polyester, from plastic, is how they're processed from fossil fuels. Both cheaper and quicker to make than their naturally occurring counterparts. The fast fashion industry has placed the idea in our heads that in order to be fashionable, we have to buy more and more and more to keep up with trends. Even if that means constantly throwing out clothes to buy new ones. Places like Shein are convenient, and the price allows us to express ourselves as we constantly change during these formative years. However, clothing made from synthetic fabrics are both poor quality and negatively impacting the environment. So even we as college students can and should, and frankly must, be making conscious efforts to avoid them. Although man-made fabrics have pervaded the fashion industry, they cause severe damage to our environment when they're made and when they're thrown away. An article published in the journal Nature Climate Change titled "The Price of Fast Fashion" explains that synthetic fabrics have been creating a much more troubling environmental footprint than we were previously thinking it was. Due to the fact that it is made from crude oils, when we make these synthetic fabrics, it releases carbon dioxide into the atmosphere as they're chemically processed. The bright colors and buzzwords really distract us from the fact that we're genuinely just wearing oil and plastic on our bodies. Published in the journal Environmental Health, the article titled "The Global Environmental Injustice of Fast Fashion" presents devastating statistics. Quote, approximately 85% of clothing Americans consume, nearly 3.8 billion pounds annually, is sent to landfills as solid waste, end quote. This clothing could have been recycled or donated, but instead that plastic is going into our oceans, our air, and our land. We can clearly see this becoming a much bigger issue as we trash our clothes to make room for new trends, as it was found in the peer-reviewed European Molecular Biology Organization journal that microplastics make up 80% of the debris found in an American fish sample that they took, proving that we are genuinely eating what we are putting in our environment. And it's plastic at this point, and it's gotten to the point where we are just eating these microfibers. And it's almost dystopian in a way if you really think about it. Not only are the fabrics harming our earth, frequently they exhibit substandard quality. Man-made clothing can be made to be durable and even good quality, but that costs a lot of money. I'm talking like Lululemon and Aritzia, like $90 pieces of plastic, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. But in fast fashion, the norm is that they pill and tear easily, and regardless of quality, they just aren't as soft and breathable as the natural materials they're trying to mimic. Cal State Fullerton's newspaper highlights how college students have already begun to become aware of this trend of avoiding synthetic materials, arguing in one article that these fabrics aren't breathable, they irritate the skin, and they trap sweat because of how low absorbed they are. In a collection of retail customer interviews using retail monitor and supply chain analyses, it further proves this idea. The general consensus confirms that thinner fabric, diminished durability, and overall just a drop in quality has arisen due to the increased percentage of polyester, nylon, and spandex in so-called cotton blends, which are really at this point 10% cotton and 95% polyester. Synthetic fabrics also have a high chance of pilling after a few washes because the fibers are unnaturally smooth because they're plastic and not real fibers. So when you throw them in the wash, the water gets them wet, and because these have low absorption, they rub together and fray after just a few times in the wash. If synthetic fabrics are so aggressively taken over the market, what can we as college students even do? Mainly, I encourage you all to take real consideration into what is going in and, almost more importantly, what is going out of your closet. There are alternatives according to the website based on sustainable living called The Good Trade, including viscose, lyocell, modal. These things are made from bamboo and other tree fibers. So although they are chemically made and processed, when you throw them out or when they are thrown away, they don't harm our environment in the same way as plastic and synthetic materials do. Plus, they can be recycled much easier. A trend underscored by research conducted with 755 college students over a 12-week period was the overbuying of clothes for the emotional reward. And so these 755 college students over a 12-week period bought 10,931 pieces of clothing, and that totaled to $754,329. So obviously, the fast fashion industry is pushing this idea of synthetic materials and cheap, easy clothing as hard as they can because it is making them so much money. It is likely that we are all familiar with thrifting as it's become a trend in recent years, but how many of us have donated our clothes that we're not using anymore to these thrift stores besides just searching for whatever new things we can find? For me personally, there's one store called Madewell that will take your old jeans and give you a discount on their new jeans, and they use that denim that they recycle from their consumers to make new clothing. And so that's one option that is just so good for the environment, and more stores are doing that, but it's not a one-way street. It's up to us as well to take up that responsibility. Synthetic fabrics are easy, cheap, and convenient, but they're also subpar quality, awful for the environment, and sometimes not even that cheap. We are willing to put money into so many things for quality: cars, shoes, makeup, technology. So what is stopping us from putting in the same effort and care into better quality clothes that also lead to a better planet? We were told all the time that it is up to us to save the environment, and that task definitely seems daunting for this generation. But this is something we can actually do with just a little more compassion towards the world. Honestly, from my personal experience, being more reserved in what I buy has allowed me to take better care and consideration to my actual style. I'm more invested in the pieces I wear now, and I love my style so much more than I did before. Together, we can bring timeless fashion back with clothes and a planet that can outlive any TikTok trend. Thank you.